Our week's been unbelievable, and it's been great for our kids. We can't say enough about Buffalo Wild Wings and the Citrus Bowl. It's just been unbelievable. We've had tremendous people take care of us. Tony just walked in with me and Michael and Lieutenant Dan, and I mean we've had great hosts, great people. Our kids have had a great time, and it couldn't go any better. And so we're very appreciative to the Buffalo Wild Citrus Bowl. So we're really appreciative. So with that, any questions?
Jerry, have you seen a lot of similarities between how Gary has built his program compared to how you are trying to build your program, and kind of where he's gone with that in compared to where you are trying to take this program?
Well, Gary was doing that all the way back to when I was at Southern Illinois, and they were at Missouri. And so I think there's similarities throughout the years. We've moved and coaches stayed at Missouri, but I think part of our product and him is he's taking care of his coaches, and his coaches have stayed with him. We're very similar in that particular situation, and so I'd say that would be the most similar thing that we have. And then starting and from scratch and keep moving forward and taking one step at a time. We're just I've only been here 4 years. Coach has been there a while, so.
Coach, do you get an idea where you always look at where your team is at going into a game. Usually it's a weekly kind of thing. Do you get a good feel for where your team is at right now because you changed up the practices a little bit this year for the bowl?
Yeah, I really feel good about our players. I mean, they have, practiced very hard. We've had excellent practices. Yesterday was, we were very sharp. So we feel good about going in. That doesn't guarantee anything. But it's a lot different than it was a year ago. I can tell you that. So kids bounced around good. I think they've had a good time, but they've also managed when we work. It's different. So I'm excited about watching them play. Again, you can take that. There's no guarantees. But as a coaching staff, we feel very comfortable. Got a good plan. We just got to be able to go execute it. We'll see.
Coach, can you reflect back on your time at Webb City and winning that state championship there?
Boy, how about that? Well, I have the couple of people that worked with me are here actually, so I brought them in to have some of that win and rub off, at Webb City. But it was a great time in my life. That was my first head coaching job, and to go over there and go 25-1 and win a state championship. It's a time that was special. I've been blessed, and that was part of the journey of where Rebecca and I, as a head coach, started. So it was a great time, and I promise you I'll never forget when we pulled that bus into Webb City, and then you got carried from the town to the school. So I wasn't as heavy then, though. It was easier to carry you.
Can you expand on who's here from Webb City?
Is a young man named Rick Utter. He was the counselor, and then there's a couple. I mean, there's actually several people, but he's the guy that I was closest to there, and remained close for a long time.
Oh, we got a question here in front, Bill.
Jerry, I know you said you and Gary have known each other quite a long time. Do you remember the first time you met him and what it was like, what it's been like since then, just kind of getting to know him more over the years?
Well, it's just like in coaching, you don't, I certainly don't know him as well as Gary Patterson, and it's been more work related or things of that nature. So I think we both have respect for each other's programs and what they've done. And when I was at Southern Illinois, that's when, I really, met him for the first time, gave him a call, said, hey, I'm here at Southern Illinois and want to come up and watch practice. And, he goes, Coach, and you bet. Andy Hill, who's on that staff, he coached at Hutch Junior College. So I know Andy a lot longer, but went up and spent time and very gracious. and you knew that he was, headed that thing in the right direction because of the organization and the discipline in the program. We spent the whole day there, and then, I don't know, a couple years later we went back and just, shared some ideas and things of that nature, and then I went on to go on, but and then see each other at coaches' conventions and so forth. Like I said, we're in a unique, a unique profession where you get to know people, and you better too, because you may get fired and you may need a job. So in this profession, you're not too critical of anybody.
The big delegation of Minnesota fans showing up, Coach, what does that do for the program and for recruiting and for future bowls and all those things to have the thousands of people show up for Minnesota?
Well, it's huge. I mean, I think through the history and people of, hey, how well will Minnesota travel if they go to a January bowl or any bowl, and I think that there's people out of the woodwork has come out. So I think it's great, all the national publicity and coming to such a prestigious bowl, and the first time playing in January since 52 years. I think people want to see the first time since we've been able to do that. So, I'm very, very thankful. I'm excited for the state and our university and the players and also our media. You guys have had a long dry spell. Sometimes it's not the easiest thing to cover a team that struggled. So it's great for everybody.
Kind of along that line, is this senior class special to you, not only the first class that's been all the way through with you, but where they started and where they are now, both of them and your program?
Yeah, that'd be a good question to ask them, because it was a different start when we took the program over. It's a mixed group of seniors. There was kids that were redshirted that were there. We had to fill some holes with 3 or 4 junior college players, and then some kids that we brought in, and plus several walk-ons, because we didn't have the scholarships available, and we just had a long way to go. So it is a special group, and Coach Novak, who I took place at Northern Illinois, who I have a great deal of respect for, there was a sign when we went in the locker room, and it said, "The ones that stay shall be rewarded." And so I think the kids that hung in there and stayed, they're getting their reward right now.
Coach, follow up on the fan question. I've never spent a winter in Minnesota. I don't think I want to, but is that bitterly cold weather one of the reasons you've got so many fans flocking down here? Yesterday the temperature difference was about 70 degrees between Orlando and Minneapolis.
Oh, the weather's beautiful in Minneapolis. I encourage you to come by, and we got good heaters, and Minnesota's a great place to live. It really is. But, I think the big thing, I'm sure that's a combination of it, but, I think not being here and being in Florida and the Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl is something that's the biggest draw. And then we have such a huge group of people here in the state of Florida, which, they live here. And so that helps. So it's a combination of several things. But, I'm sure that if you had a choice and you go, well, we can go see this bowl game and have a good time here because there's so many things to do. Are we being 2-degree weather, whatever that is? I'm sure that we had people swimming out there when it was raining yesterday. So that'd tell you something.
Jerry, how careful do you guys have to be with Marcus Murphy tomorrow? And not to bring up a bad memory, but the Syracuse return at the end of that bowl game, just how much do you think you guys have improved in that category since that?
Yeah, I'm trying to forget those things. I think that it's a concern. I just got out of the film room. We had special teams meetings. You try to do everything you can. Field position's critical, but at the same time, whatever you do, sometimes you can kick the ball out of bounds and things. That isn't good, so it's an issue. He's a great player, both kickoff and return and punt return, running back. So he's an explosive player. He's got speed like young man at Purdue had. You get it, and it's over. So it's a major concern.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about Drew Goodger. He's not a guy whose stats really pop off the page, but he's one of those guys in that senior class you were talking about. What's he meant to the program?
He's what we represent. He's a hard-nosed, tough kid. He's played with, shoulder separation. He's played with a high ankle sprain and hadn't missed a game. And that's what we're trying to do. We take great pride in. And when we came in there, we're going to be a hard-nosed, tough, physical football team, and that's what he is. And he brought that, he's brought that mentality, and kids see that, and they gravitate to, hey, we're going to be tough and hard-nosed because he is. So he's been great for our program, and can't be a better kid.
Coach Clays has brought up several times that containing Mock is the biggest challenge facing the defense. What are in the past have been some of the issues you guys have had containing scrambling quarterbacks, and what are keys going forward tomorrow?
Well, I don't think anybody has kept him in the pocket all year. So I don't think it's something he has a knack for. Some people just have a feel for pressure. We're going to do everything we can to keep him in the box, but he's great at stepping up. And it's just like Manziel when he played for A&M. He just had a knack of, being able to get out of the pocket. He keeps his head down the field very well. He can tuck it and run it. So that's why they were playing for the Southeast Conference Championship. They're a very, very good football team with some guys that can make some plays, and that's a big key for us. We can't give up the big play. Can't turn over the ball, and we got to win the kicking game. It really comes down to that. We have to do those two things, or three things.
Coach, you've gotten here for the first time in 52 years for this program, but what would actually winning the bowl game mean for you and Minnesota?
Well, I think for me personally, not as it's always great to be in this stage and win. That's what we're here for. But for our state and for our university, I think that we say we're building the program brick by brick. That would be a huge brick. Really be a huge brick for us, and keep continuing the momentum that we have in the program right now. So it would be very, very big for all of us.
Coach Kill, you have a player from Columbia, Missouri on your team, Alex Keith. Can you just tell us, what he's kind of meant to the program and how he's kind of grown from his freshman year on to his junior year, and how excited he is to face a team that I'm assuming he kind of grew up rooting for, or grew up around at least?
He's played very well for us. Unfortunately, he got, his best game was early in the year. He dominated and was just, unbelievable. But then he had a knee injury, and that's really slowed him up. He missed several games, and it's been a process when you come back during the year off that knee injury. But we've had some time, and I look for him. I don't think I have to worry about getting him motivated to play. And he's a highly skilled defensive end. But again, coming off the knee injury has set him back, physically a little bit. But we're certainly glad that we also have him for another year. And but we need him to play well in this game. Certainly, like I said, trying to contain the Q.
Coach, would you say that the New Year's Day game has a different feel to it, so maybe a little more big time or whatever?
Well, I've said several times, I'm an old guy, I guess. I grew up on New Year's Day, and your family gets a big ham, and you get a blanket, and it's January 1st, and is bowl games. This is what it's all about. So I don't think there's any question, from a traditional standpoint, and certainly what you think of New Year's Day, there's no question it's a different feel, and for all of us. And again, being here is a great thing.
Any last-minute injury updates? Like Ben Lauer was the guy we were checking on.
Yeah, Ben won't play. Unfortunately, and he's been very sick. He is here, and rehabbing. But coming off mono, that's something that's a very difficult situation. So, but he's been at practice and been able to enjoy a little bit, and that's been good for him. Getting to where he can, not be so tired and get moving around a little bit. But we'll miss. There's no question. That miss that depth right now at tackle, and certainly trying to deal with those two defensive ends, which that's not an easy thing to do. They're very good.
All right, any other questions for Coach Kill? Okay, thank you, Coach, for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And for those of you